we got some things over here that, citizens' comments. We have, yes, sir.
Public hearing.
We'll save this until then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, our agenda items for this evening's meeting is a public hearing that we will be holding, and this is a petition to vacate a 15-foot alleyway from Coosa Street to sub-lot 3. And we'll take this up at that point in time. That's what, Paul, that's what you're here to speak about, is alleyway.
Mark.
Yes, Mark, yes.
Mark, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. And then we also have a public hearing this evening for Ingram State Technical College Foundation 240 nonprofit tax exempt special events license for lights, camera, and auction. So we'll be taking that up also in a public hearing. I have no old business this evening. Our new business will be resolution 2022-3-21-22, approved petition to vacate a 15-foot alleyway from Coosa Street to sublot 3. Item 2 will be approved the nonprofit tax exempt special events license for lights, camera, and auction. And that's for Ingram State Technical College. And then item 3 would be approval of the 2022 infrastructure improvement plan for the ARPA funds. And this will be the first time this will be on the agenda, but we will be explaining that. And then item 4 will be permission to install a power meter at the farmers market at 304 East Coosa Street for vendors. So those are our agenda items for this evening, and we'll go ahead and have the roll call. Yeah, let me do that. I think I'll just call the meeting to order first, and we'll have the pledge and the invocation. We'll do the invocation first.
All right, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for another day to serve you, to know you, and to love others as you love us, Lord. Thank you for this city. Thank you for the providence in all of our lives, Lord, and thank you for the work that you do in each one of us. Lord, watch over our meeting tonight. May your spirit be with us. May you lead, guide, and direct us, and may we see others the way you see us. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now will you do the roll call?
Councilmember Robbins.
Here.
Councilmember Tucker.
Here.
Councilmember Justice.
Here.
Councilmember Gant. Councilmember Brown.
Here.
Mayor Willis.
You received in your packet a copy of the minutes from the council meeting held on March 7th, 2022. Are there any corrections to those minutes? If not, we'll entertain a motion. We have a
Second.
motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So those minutes have been approved. Public hearing this evening, so we'll call ourselves into a public hearing. Petition to vacate a 15-foot alleyway from Coosa Street to sublot 3. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this action? Okay, Mark, you'll come down, tell us who you are, where you live, and we'll go from there.
My name is Mark Howard. My resident property is 301 North Bridge Street. I moved here 11 years ago, and in that 11 years, I had the chance to purchase a piece of property on Coosa Street, which is right behind my property at 301 North Bridge. And separating my property and the Coosa Street property is still a 15-foot right-of-way from the city. I'm asking that right away to be vacated, or I can join it all into one lot, that's 301 North Bridge, and make some improvements that don't impede me now because of the right-of-way setbacks. So I want to make some driveway improvements and some building improvements as well. Asking that, vacate that.
Okay. Anyone else to speak in favor of this? Anyone here to speak against this? Thank you, Mark. Justin, y'all have it, y'all have seen this, have no problem with it?
No, sir.
Public hearing having been held, we'll move on and ask the council, do we have a motion for granting this petition?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? I'd like to shed a little bit of light on that. There was a two-story house that sat on that lot. I don't know if you ever saw that or not.
No, sir.
It was the Walker House. It was a gentleman who ran the telephone company here in Wetumpka, and that was their home. That's where he grew up, and his mom and dad lived there. And it got pretty well dilapidated, and citizens in the community wanted it torn down, and we were able to move through that process and get that cleared. So we'll move on now. All in favor of this, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so that has been granted.
Thank you.
Public hearing also this evening for the Ingram State Technical College Foundation 240 nonprofit tax exempt special event license for lights, camera, and auction. Seems like that ought to be action good, but it's auction. We're going to be raising money for something. So, anyone here to speak in favor of this? Yes, sir.
Good evening, I'm Dr. Brandon Lentz with Ingram State Technical College. And on April 7th, we are hosting a event where we raise money for our students. And as you know, Ingram State serves a 100% incarcerated population. And so once they are released, we like to present them with a set of tools that they can go out in the world and become reliable citizens. And this is one of our fundraisers, the way that we do that. So we're asking for your approval of our special event license for April 7th.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Anyone
you.
here to speak against this? Okay. Having held the public hearing, we'll move forward, move back into our regular council meeting. Action to be taken on this, council, I would entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that permission has been granted.
Thank
you. Thank you. Under new business this evening, Resolution 2022-3-21-22. We sure did, didn't we? Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, and then item 2, we've already handled that also. Item 3, approval of the 2022 infrastructure improvement plan for the ARPA funds. There.
All right. I think everybody has a copy of the whole document now. The city received funds through the American Recovery Plan Act in July of 2021. Our total allocation for that was almost $1.9 billion. We were awarded we were given 50% of that money at the time it was approved. Out of that money that we were awarded, the council voted to give a single payment of retrospective premium paid to regular full-time employees back in, that was back in September of 2021. So that left, around $678,000 in the account. So in order to get the remaining funds from ARPA, we have to have an infrastructure improvement plan. We have to submit the plan in order to unlock, I guess, the 50%, the other 50% of the money. So after the plan is submitted, you guys approve it and submit it to ARPA, then we will have $1.67 million left funded into that account to do infrastructure improvement plan. So this plan outlines, is the plan on how we spend that $1.67 million. So it includes infrastructure improvements, utility improvements, equipment purchases, paving and resurfacing projects throughout the city. The water line, the utility projects or water line projects, these projects will be completed through the Wetumpka Waterworks. And we will reimburse the Wetumpka Waterworks for these improvements. And that includes the MLK Center, for and under Highway 14 to get water to the east side of the sports complex, and the water line to the proposed fire station over on Highway 111. The infrastructure projects includes a complete redo on the Coosa Street from Marshall Street to Cotton Street and Farmers Market. So during the tornado, there's a tree basically in the middle of the road. It's dead. The street was pretty well torn up after the tornado came through and there's repair efforts. And then since then, we've had some revitalization in the area. So this plan will completely redo that street. We have, as part of another plan, we have some improvements going on North Bridge Street, and we need to do some stormwater improvements there prior to the paving getting done on North Bridge Street there. Installation of stormwater for the fire station that's being planned on North Bridge Street, and then some other stormwater improvements on Vacate prior to some paving on that street as well. And then as far as the equipment package goes, this pretty much replaces everything that Public Works uses from their day-to-day operations. On the equipment, this includes 2-year full warranty, full machine warranty, and 3 years worth of services. So we should have no expenses on these machines for 3 years. It replaces a lot of the trucks. It gives us the trailers that we need to haul the equipment around in the city. And it also expands Public Works' ability to service the trucks that we're getting tired, rotating balance machines and brake lathes and stuff like that. So we don't have to outsource that stuff in the future. And then we have some equipment, survey equipment that we're proposing to purchase here for several different reasons. One, with this equipment, we should be able to do a lot of our work in-house from a Public Works standpoint. And then we've also proposed a survey grade GPS to help with the construction projects and also inventory our other infrastructure that we have, so that in the future we would have a plan for other infrastructure improvements as money becomes available from at the federal level. And then the paving and resurfacing projects in 2021, we graded all the streets inside the city limits. You saw some of that paving happen last year when we had North Bridge Street, we had Northwest Main, and 111 was that was with some other money, but there was another street that we paved in there somewhere. So these paving projects, we basically started at the bottom of the list and continued working up, trying to attack that list of dilapidated streets. And this package here basically puts us 5 years ahead of where we would be today. And then also addressing the sports complex parking lot, it's time to reseal it and restripe it, and then also the city center parking lot, so our public areas are used for the citizens there. So the total with contingency, we have 5% contingency with construction costs and everything else. out there. We put in a 5% contingency, so the total infrastructure budget comes out to $1.675 million. Are there any questions?
I just want to commend you that, I've been here for a few years and I have never seen a document like this put together that actually shows us exactly the direction we will be going and gives us a roadmap to get there. So, job well done, and we appreciate it. And I know council, I've shared it with one of the council members today, but I think two of you I did. But it's great to have this in hand because you're no longer guessing at what you're doing. You agree with me?
Absolutely, keep you from making me get it.
What'd you say, Joe?
Amen.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Okay. We need approval on this infrastructure improvement plan. That's the first time on the agenda, so we're spending money. We're not going to attack that tonight. We'll put it back on for next meeting. And then item 4, permission to install file meter at Farmers Market at 304 East Coosa Street for vendors. This too is the first time on the agenda. We'll have to reappear the next meeting. Expending funds, so we'll take that up again at our next meeting. So, how long do you think it'll be before you start implementing some of the things?
So,
What's the timeline for the money? If I can ask for it.
You got to present this to the,
And then,
We've got 600.
well, yeah, I heard that, but I mean, do we know once we present it with the turn?
Dakota's been working on that.
The portal opens up next month, after the end of the month to submit it, so I'm glad that we submit it. They go through it, which to get the first initial amount, we did it within a couple of weeks, we had the money, so I'd say 2 weeks it came in. As direct deposits, we're not waiting on a check. Hopefully after we submit it and they review it, hopefully it's within a month's time. Hopefully.
So as far as the time it goes on the projects, the utility projects will probably coincide with the construction projects. Those are a few months out. We're not, it's not going to be next week on those. Those are a little ways out. The infrastructure projects, we'll have to bid one of them, and they'll have to come back before council before we spend any of that money. The equipment is where the immediate funding would come in. Some of this equipment is currently available. We can move on some of that right now. We actually have those funds in the account now to start getting the equipment, getting it ordered. And then the paving and resurfacing projects, the county, those will coincide with the county's paving and resurfacing projects. And they let those in June. So we're looking probably in September when those get done.
Justin, is the county getting some of this money too on their end? Are they getting any money?
They did, and they're allocating it in different ways. They did the same retrospective pay. They're also purchasing some equipment, some paving equipment, I think. I'm not gonna speak for them, but they're working on the same type plan.
there were a lot of stipulations of what you could spend the money on, how you had to spend the money. So this meets a lot of our needs. Brings us up to more modern times. Okay. All right. Anything else? Motion to adjourn? Okay, we stand adjourned.
Good job, Justice, you let me go.